maybe you have such high self-esteem that you don't give a shit what people think about what you watch.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am your host, Ramona Ramirez Higgins. This is going to be a solo house episode. As Margie shared with everybody last week, she is taking the month of April off. She's going to reclaim her time, resource herself, relax, rejuvenate, refresh, just take care of herself. So while I miss her, I wish her joy and rest and relaxation. On this podcast, this is what I talk about. This is what I'm committed to lately. I am decolonizing rest, man. I am motherfucking colonizing this insane obsession we have with productivity and what it means to be productive. Oh God, it's the end of the day. The ADHD meds may be wearing off. Also, it's Wednesday, April 1, and the thing that we all wished was the ultimate April Fool's joke. I think deep down, I was hoping that today it would be like, haha, JK. It's not JK. It's IR frickin' L. It's reality. It's the reality in reality television. And just as a little refresher, when we say at the beginning of the episode that we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy, what this means is that Margie and I, respectively, have been going to therapy for so many years. Maybe longer than some of you have been alive, honestly, for real. And so having that many years of therapy and or 12-step rooms, for me, the work I've been doing with psychedelic medicine, it all influences how I watch television in general, but especially how I watch reality TV. And so taking on this summer house news so personally, like the fact that it is being talked about in the New York Times, which I also believe Scandival was covered in the New York Times when that first happened. The news cycle today has been freaking relentless. And honestly, I'm not interested in poor sweet Ciara, or honestly, even Wes and Amanda as collateral damage right now. Am I a little bit grateful for the relentless news cycle being Bravo-based versus, the other shit right now? I'm not going to lie, yes. And that might sound terrible. I hope that you understand what I mean. I'm not gleeful about any of this at all. This is terrible for everybody involved. I feel terribly for Amanda in that, as someone who has struggled with the kind of depression that I have a feeling that she can relate to, I don't want her to be sitting at home right now with suicidal ideation. If anyone saw the interviews that Kyle gave today, he said he spoke with her yesterday and that she's not in a great space. She's doing pretty terribly. I'm disgusted by the screenshots I'm seeing on Reddit or Instagram of things that people are DMing to West and Amanda, DMing to other Bravo accounts. Get a fucking grip. I have a feeling that none of our listeners, if I may say so, I have a feeling that none of our listeners are the kind of people that are going to DM terrible fucking things. I have a feeling that the people that listen to us, you guys know, you would not do that. I just have that faith. You know what I mean? And I don't think I'm being naive in claiming that. You guys are a classy ass bunch, And I think that everyone in my community, in my Bravo community, I'm not interested in retrofucking-bution right now with anyone involved, I feel badly for Kyle right now. That's where I'm at. I don't feel bad for West. I don't want any one of them to be getting shitty DMs, though. That's insane. Amanda's losing brand deals. But more than that, she's lost a friend. She's lost a dear friend, a loyal friend, an ally. I'm heartbroken for Ciara. I feel terribly. I don't know these people. I'm projecting. I don't know these people. But from what we've seen Ciara share since she joined this cast because of fucking Luke in season 5 and what she went through with that man, Austin, West, Jesse. What the fuck? Uncle, come on, you guys. Stop. Just stop. It's really fucking sad. It's so awful. And I don't even know what the fuck we say, you know? It's a lot. And I'm grateful as I get older. You know, I now know that when I live in a really black and white, right and wrong, if I'm in that mindset where things are, it's concrete, I know that I'm trying to protect myself from something that is a way to keep myself feeling safe in some way, shape, or form. I'm not cool with what Wes and Amanda did. I'm 100% firmly Team Ciara, which is, I can't believe I am the advanced age I am, and then I actually just said Team Ciara or Team anybody, Team blank. But you know what I mean? The thing is that we can all relate. We can all relate to this because this dynamic has happened in our lives, either to our friends or to ourselves. Maybe we've been the Amanda. Maybe we've been the Ciara. Maybe we've been the West. I don't know. It's real. It's so layered too. This just seems more, I don't know. I'm a different person now than when Scandival happened. We also cannot ignore the fact that race has a lot to do with how devastating this particular situation is. I mean, they've talked about it already this season, mere episodes ago. And I fear that Wes is going to come out of this like, just a scratch, merely a flesh wound. Whereas Ciara, especially, and Amanda are really going to take the brunts of misogyny, misogynoir, racism. It's a lot. But the next time someone fucking gives you that look because you watch reality TV and you watch Bravo, you say, really, motherfucker? Because look at all this shit. And you show them the headlines in the New York Times and all over every freaking news outlet today. All right? Or don't. You know what? Maybe you have such high self-esteem that you don't give a shit what people think about what you watch. And you know what? If that is you, I love that for you. I swear to God, it makes me so happy for you. I don't know what else I can say about it other than it's been a long day. And watching the episode, knowing that it's true versus a week ago when we were still speculating, it just was like, I sat down to take notes. I'm like, what the fuck? What do I even do? What are we even doing? But let's do it. Okay, let's get into it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to talk about it. We're going to see. I have my notes and we have this new information. We have this new layer, this new filter to put on top of what we've seen. And we're going to see what happens, okay? Come with me. Join me. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I really, really do, especially being here without Margie. I appreciate you tuning in. Okay. Hi, Margie. We love you. Guys, we're here to talk about Summer House Season 10, Episode 9. This episode is called Wrinkles and Rosé. We resume at Kyle's old man-themed birthday party. There is dancing and revelry and such. This party didn't look fun to me. I think, you know what I mean? Like the 40 over the hill shit. Like I remember when I was growing up and I would see my parents go to these 40-year-old parties and over the hill. And then I turned 40. I'm all, what the fuck? Excuse me? Over the hill? I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. So the first scene of note takes place between Carl and Kyle. And they're sitting in what the Summer House kids have, put together this little, it's their way of looking at a senior citizen's living room. They've got the prerequisite recliners and bad wallpaper. And honestly, I haven't seen anybody's house that qualifies for AARP look like what that little living room vignette that they had set up. But, whatevs, dude. It's not like they are known for nuance when they throw these theme parties. Am I right? So I'm barking up the wrong tree if that's what I expect. I don't know. It's not that fucking deep in this moment. So Kyle shares that he's been stressed for the last 8 months trying to keep things together with Loverboy. And Carl said that he's been preoccupied with getting Softbar ready. But he also wants to clear the air because he's aware that there's been some talk around who invested in Softbar. And Carl shares that he's been sad about it, to be honest. And he reminds Kyle that when Kyle was getting Loverboy going, Carl believed in it and wanted to support Kyle as best as he could. And he knows that $15,000 at the time wasn't a ton of money back then, and acknowledges Kyle for helping him professionally over the years and being so supportive, which is why having him be involved with Softbar in any way is so important to him. And Kyle says that he doesn't blame Carl for feeling sad about him not investing any money. And he acknowledges that Carl bet on Loverboy when Loverboy was starting. But right now, his wallet is way too deep in Loverboy for him to invest in Softbar. Kyle confirms that Loverboy is in danger of folding in 3 months, which would have been November of 2025, would have been 3 months after they filmed this scene. And at that point, Loverboy was going to go bankrupt if Kyle had not found a new business partner by then. So apparently he did. I don't think that he has filed for bankruptcy. I don't think Loverboy has completely folded. We don't know that. That would have, I think, been a really big headline, right? While Kyle is telling Carl all about this, his anxiety about it is palpable. You can see it on his face. He looks burdened. He's sighing. He is not happy-go-lucky, nor should he be. I think everything on his plate right now, it's appropriate for him to be looking and acting the way he is at this party. So he shares that he doesn't think Amanda is aware of how dire it is. And Carl asks him if, in the worst-case scenario, Loverboy shutters, at least you still have each other, right? You and Amanda? And Kyle just answers, I don't know. And I have a feeling that Carl knows that answer too. And maybe that was his way of checking in with his friend to say, like, hey, buddy, I can tell something's up with you guys. I can tell something's up with you. This is a lot. What's going on? And the thing is that so far, we're 9 episodes in and Kyle hasn't really gone deeper than what he's just told Carl and what he told West and Ben. I applaud Carl for trying. I applaud Carl for showing up and being earnest. And I feel like Carl is really okay with whatever Kyle is capable of giving him. And when I say okay, I mean that he's going to accept it and that he is going to take in the information that Kyle gives him, sit with his uncomfortable feelings. But I don't feel like Carl's taking any of it personally. He's sad. He wishes his friend could invest. But this isn't because of a moral failure or something that Carl did wrong. And I am just really continually inspired by Carl's self-esteem, to be honest. I enjoy watching Carl maneuver through all of his feelings, highs, lows, discomfort, insecurities, feeling weird. I'm here for all of it because it's earnest and it's honest and it's considered. And I find that very compelling, much more compelling than watching someone like Jesse or someone like Kyle. God bless right now, dude. I can't imagine. So then we have a scene with Jesse and Lindsay. They're scoping out the crowd for a potential man for her. We see a flashback to Jesse asking her early in the day if she has a man in her life currently. And she says she doesn't. She wants 45 plus and she's ready to be a sugar baby. Oh my God, damn, dude. And in her confessional, Lindsay says that she loves love. She was in love a couple of times, but it burned her. The last 2 relationships, which is she is referring to Carl and Gemma's dad, Turner, they didn't work out. And like I've said a million times, I'm rewatching Summer House from season 1. We're on season 5. So I've already had a few seasons of watching Lindsay with Everett. I'm watching her now in her relationship with Steven / Stravi, which was, I think, season 4 and season 5 boyfriend. Those didn't seem like love to me. They seemed like a lot of fear and a lot of control in order to avoid being hurt no matter what. Her relationship with Carl seemed like love, I think, for both of them. And I don't know if Lindsay and I have the same idea or definition of what love is, though. I really don't. I've shared before so many times. I can relate and empathize and sympathize with how scared of abandonment Lindsay is because of her relationship with her mom leaving her at such a young age. I mean, maybe barely verbal. Wasn't she like a toddler? Wasn't she just like so little? It just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to think about being abandoned by a parent that young and what that must do to you. On paper, Lindsay's got a lot going on, and she's got a lot of success, a lot of material success, a lot of professional success. She has the baby that she's always wanted ever since we've seen her on Summer House. Now we know, because she shared it with us, that the relationship is like whatever. But I still, and I say this with love, and I say this with empathy, I still don't want to trade places with her because I still see a lot of control and a lot of mental gymnastics and ways of thinking that feel really based in fear. And I get it. I validate it. I empathize with it. You don't want to hurt. You don't want to have someone fuck you over. I have been Lindsay. Abso-fucking-lutely, I've been Lindsay. Got that really like intense type A energy, and she's going to wrestle out the fucking result that she wants come hell or high water. And I can no longer do that. I fail spectacularly when I do it. It feels terribly. Being vulnerable fucking sucks. Talking about my feelings is so uncomfortable. Sitting in my feelings is excruciating. I know now I'm going to hurt regardless. I can try to do everything I can do to stop being hurt. But when I sit down with what I'm trying to avoid, dude, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be on that spectrum of pain, from a little wince to a fucking like deep, like, oh my God, can I survive this kind of an intense pain? And I just wish for an easier, softer way for her that can, in my experience, only come from just utter fucking surrender and acceptance. And it's not easy. And I don't criticize her for being where she's at. You know what I mean? I don't want to trade places with her, but I get it. I don't know anything about her relationship with Turner, but Turner aside, none of her issues seem to have foundationally been addressed over the last 10 years we've been watching her, you know? And real love can feel so scary. You have to have so much trust. You have to practice being vulnerable a lot. You have to surrender the desire to win and dominate and have things be 50-50 fair all the fucking time. You have to practice humility. And it's fucking scary. It's a scary endeavor to be really in love. And it's also been the most incredible thing to see how much my own marriage can stretch and handle as long as we are both really honest and vulnerable. And it just makes me love this man more and more every fucking day. Hi, Josh, if you're listening, I love you. And you do such a fucking great job, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Lindsay would love to have a partner like you. And I hope that she's able to find her Josh one day. I really do. Everybody deserves a Josh love. Everybody deserves. Okay, wait a minute. Let's not go crazy. Not everybody deserves a Josh love, but I'm saying that, like, what am I trying to say? Ooh, look at me. Look at me trying to get moral. I'm just saying that, like, there are certain people that like Josh is way too fucking good for. And you know who, you can fill in the fucking blank. You know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. They seek their own, okay? To those walking the same path as Higgy, I wish for them to have a Higgy. If that's all I'm saying. My point is, I don't know if what Lindsay wants is what I want from romantic love. And I don't want what she's had so far, you know? And I say that without judgment. I hope that makes sense, that I'm saying it without judgment. I know it's working for her. I know on paper there's no reason to think that nothing's working, that it's not working. But if she wants what she says she wants, you got to give a little bit. You got to be a little soft sometimes. And it's scary. So whatever you want, Lindsay, I want that for you, okay? Some dude named Brandon joins Jesse and Lindsay. They call him over because he has on nice shoes and a nice watch, which is good by her. And then she learns he's good friends with Carl, and she's no longer interested. So I don't know. I guess it was supposed to be funny. I found it annoying, that scene. The next scene is with KJ West and Dara. Dara. Oh my God, I almost said Dara. Dara. West is checking in with her to make sure that she's having fun. Are people being welcoming to her, etc.? And she shares, yes, so far, the only negative feedback she has concerns people who aren't there at the moment, and she'll address them when she sees them next. And we all know that she's alluding to Bailey, and Bailey telling Lindsay that Dara was in Ben's room for an hour after the Ren party concluded. And in her confessional, Dara says, my priority is to make sure KJ and I are good, to make sure KJ knows I'm not doing shady shit behind his back. Second priority is to have a conversation with Bailey so she understands she can't make up random facts that aren't true at all. I mean, I don't know what the fuck to say here, because we have seen the footage of Dara being in Ben's room for a while after the Ren Fair party. Obviously, if she went in there to change her outfit to grab the jitney or an Uber back to the city, fine, totally reasonable. No big deal. No contracts were signed. No relationship boundaries were given at that time after that party. Dara could have actually been in there making out with Ben if she wanted to. But, to say that she wasn't in there at all, like she says at the end of the episode, we all know what we saw. And I don't know how long she was in there for. I don't fucking know, dude. It seems low stakes right now compared to everything else on our plates. Bottom line, though, what I like about Dara and what I like about KJ, from what I'm seeing, is I think that they are both really committed to taking care of each other. And I don't mean taking care of each other in a codependent way. I mean that they're like, I care about you. I care about the experience you're having while you're spending time with me. And my priority is to make sure that you're feeling okay. And the fact that she knows that he has issues with anxiety and she is trying to be a safe space for him. Fuck yeah, dude. So I'm really pro KJ and Dara until proven otherwise. And listen, who knows what the fucking headlines are going to be tomorrow? No one is safe, right? Right? God, isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? What must you think to throw a friendship like that away? What must be going on? In high school, I understood that. In high school, I understood wanting to be chosen at the extent of a friend's feelings, at the risk of hurting a friend's feelings. If their ex liked me, I'm thinking about one situation in particular. Was I a junior or a senior in high school? But I cannot remember a time ever since then. And I kind of feel like shit that happened in high school doesn't really count. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I look back and don't know. I look back on that situation. If you bring up certain names and say, Ramona, these names, junior year of high school, I'm going to wince. I'm going to know exactly what you're referring to. But my brain wasn't fully developed and my self-esteem was in the fucking shitter in high school, to be honest. Okay? So, and that's not an excuse. It's just real. It's just where I was. You know what I mean? But I was not making choices like that. I wouldn't be able to do that to one of my dear, loyal friends. Anyway, then we see Carl. We see him texting someone, and he has written that he misses them and wishes that they were at the house. I miss you. Wish you were here. And in his confessional, he shares, I feel weird. And his facial expression says as much. He says that he didn't feel like he got anything accomplished in his conversation with Kyle. Kyle was bitching. He was, woe is me. Carl says that's a thing that Kyle does. He said it's how he controls the conversation. And I wrote, holy shit. So Carl knows exactly what Kyle is doing right now. And Carl says, I kind of wish Bailey was here to distract me from this. Damn. The sober alcoholic wants distraction from his uncomfortable, weird feelings. Weird, he's saying he feels weird. I'm not saying he's weird. I'm using his words. I loved it. I loved it. It showed it all. It showed it all. Vulnerability, honesty, admitting where he's at, not having to look fucking perfect, admitting I feel weird right now. It just endears me to him more and more, and it makes me have more and more faith in his sobriety. And the fact that he said he wanted a distraction from his uncomfortable, weird feelings, like he's totally being upfront about it. I want to talk to her because it's going to distract me from this fucked up conversation I just had with one of my so-called best friends. I think that's admirable. Anyway, then we cut to a scene completely not in the Hamptons where we go back to New York City for a minute where Bailey is sitting on a park bench and she's FaceTiming with her mom. And this conversation, what was it, 2 minutes long, this little scene, but it gave so much juicy backstory into how Bailey came to be. We see that her mom on FaceTime is in this woodsy outdoor setting, and Bailey asks her mom, are you pretending to be outdoorsy for this man that you're with, that we can probably assume that Bailey's mom is dating? And her mom says something like that, yes. And I was like, I fucking love it. I love that Bailey asked her mom this with a sense of humor, and her mom didn't fucking hide away from it. She's like, yep. And it said everything we needed to know. Bailey's mom probably doesn't like being in the fucking woods as much as she's acting like she does, because she is there with a dude that she's into. And I remembered immediately, I was like hurtled back to when I would fill out online dating profiles. My God, this is like 20 years ago. And 20 years, fuck, that's not okay. What? When? Why is it 2026? Why? Why did I age 20 years? That's a whole other show. My point is, when I was filling out online dating profiles, I don't know. I would have this fucking conversation with myself every time I had to fill out a fucking bio. And it's like, do you like the outdoors? Like, yeah, I guess. Do I want to go camp? Like hike in somewhere and camp in a fucking like tent? No, I want to like drive up to a campsite and I want to have a big tent that I can stand up in and there's lots of room and I'm not claustrophobic. I'd like running water. I don't want an outhouse. I definitely don't want a bucket situation. So like, what do I do? What do I do? And my fear, my main fear, my Lindsay Hubbard fear was like, if I say I'm not into the outdoors, someone's going to make a judgment call about me and be like, oh, she's XYZ. Instead of if I was just like, no, I don't fucking want to go fishing. No. But you know what? The thing is that I love white water rafting. Rapids in a raft is really fun with a helmet on, and a vest. It's really fun. So I hiked Runyon. I hiked Griffith Park all the time. Like, I like the outdoors. Was I outdoorsy? I don't know. Aren't we all outdoorsy? I had a fucking convertible. My top was down. I was technically in the outdoors 22 miles a day of my commute, like every day. You know what I mean? So anyway, it just reminded me of like what I would do to try to be a person that was lovable. That's what it boiled down to. When I should have just written down like, here's the deal. I don't know. Like, it depends on what we're doing. It depends on what we're doing outside. Would I rather go shopping? Sure. Is your idea of outdoors being in a convertible, like sipping an iced coffee? Then fuck yeah. I like the beach. Do I have to be there every freaking day? No, I don't. I am absolutely okay being inside. I'm absolutely okay with air conditioning versus fresh air. I don't know. Anyway, I did the best I could at the time. So Bailey's mom asks Bailey, hey, how's the share house going? And Bailey says it's going well and that she's trying to date and flirt. And we see a flashback to her and Carl on their quasi-date from the week before. Carl asking Bailey, are we flirting now? And her answering him, I think so. And her mom asks her if there's anyone that she likes. And she says yes. And she tells her about Carl, that he's 6'5", but he's like a big teddy bear. And he's sweet and nice. And she shares that she's a lot more fearful than she thought she was going to be, given how terrible her previous relationship was. And her mom reminds her of the advice that Bailey gave her when she first started seeing countryside man, outdoors man. Bailey said to her mom, if you're the same person in this relationship, it will be the same relationship as your last relationship. So her mom says, Bailey, maybe it's not that you don't have game. Maybe it's that you are not as enamored by the red flags anymore. I love that. I think the fact that she ditched her attraction to Ben so quickly and sees Carl's qualities and is attracted to them is promising for her. Carl seems super healthy and super honest, super earnest, and super not into games. And that is what is attractive to Bailey right now. What the fuck? That's amazing. That is great. I think that's great. From what we know about Carl, you know what I mean? From what we're seeing. Anyway, so I'm happy for Bailey, and I'm glad her mom threw that back in her face. And Bailey thanks her mom for the advice, and her mom has to remind her, dude, that's your own advice. That's what you told me. So kudos. So back at the party, we are introduced to a woman named Maggie. She's there to see Jesse, of all people. Oh, God bless. And in his confessional, Jesse says that he usually dates very sweet, bubbly corporate girlies. And BT dubs, can I just say that I fucking hate the term girly? What? Where? Why? When? Who? Why are we where? Girly? What? And listen, if you like to use that term, I'm not judging you. I just don't know where it came from, why it feels infantilizing. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's TikTok speak. Again, maybe it's just the fact that hearing it come from Jesse when he says girly, feel some type of way, all this shit, it just seems so awkward coming out of his huge mouth. And I say this, the huge mouth on me sees the huge mouth on him, okay? Listen, I have a huge mouth. My mouth is probably bigger than Jesse's, okay? So like, I am not dissing his big mouth. I'm just saying it seems, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable to hear him say the term feel some type of way and girly. My point is that he says, Maggie's so nice. We have good conversations. So I'm trying not to judge her too quickly. Okay. You're trying not to judge someone, Jesse? Okay. And yes, I am judging Jesse right now, but I am going off what he has given us all season long. And it's been real fucking slim, past the expiration date pickings. Okay. This is not someone that I wish for anyone to date. I also observed, and I could be wrong, I presented as very young, much younger than my age for a very long time. I am very sad that I no longer have that experience, but I did enjoy it while it lasted. And you know what? Why that meant a lot to me probably only speaks to the fact that we celebrate youth so much in this culture, and it felt like something I could get away with for a very long time. I no longer can, and it makes me sad. Okay? I'm just being honest. Am I proud of it? No. Can I hear my mother saying, why would you think that? What does that mean? Like, yes, I can. And I'm working on it. Trust me, I talk about it in therapy. My point is that Maggie looks young. This is not a put down, but I only bring it up because maybe she is easily impressed by someone like Jesse. He's older. He's on TV. He is probably considered to be attractive by, depending on who you ask. And this is not gonna, I don't know, maybe it'll bode well for her. I imagine that as soon as she starts to have any kind of reasonable request of Jesse, that he'll lose interest or judge her in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't wish Jesse on people to date. God bless Jesse. I I want better for you. I hope you want better for you. But also B, like, you're trying not to judge, Jesse? Come on, humble yourself, dude. You are not the judgee, dude. You're the judgee. You're not the judger. And that's not okay, though. Really, honestly, my evolved self, that's not okay. I need to hold space for people like Jesse on his process. I just don't want him out there like hurting people, you know? And guys like him hurt people. But I guess if we don't get hurt, what do we learn? You know what I mean? So maybe it's all part of it, right? Maybe it's all part of it. Who knows? Elsewhere at the party, Mia is sitting with Ciara, and she tells her Amanda was upset earlier and Amanda feels like everyone's talking about her, about the night before and about what Kyle said to her. So Lindsay joins them and asks, what are you gossiping about? She's really buying into the whole, like, what's her name? Doris. That's her senior citizen alter ego. They tell her that they're talking about Kyle and Amanda, and Ciara shares with Mia and Lindsay what Ben told her earlier that day, that Kyle is on the hook for millions of dollars in loans for Loverboy, and this information takes Lindsay aback. And Ciara shares, I don't give a shit what the stressors are that he has. You still don't need to talk to your wife this way. And she and Mia both agree vehemently that it's unacceptable. And Lindsay wonders aloud if the state of Loverboy's finances will affect Amanda. And Ciara's like, hell yes, they will. They don't have a fucking prenup. And Lindsay says that's crazy, and it's worse than she ever thought. Ay, ay, ay. So there's more party montages, and we see West introducing Ben to women. And in his confessional, Ben shares he's meeting some amazing people, but he's distracted because he keeps thinking about the last person he dated. That's the woman that he told Ciara about at the winery. He thinks it's a good sign that he keeps thinking about her and that she keeps being so prominent in his thoughts and his mind. And he can imagine them running around at a party like this together, having a good time, and he'd love to be talking to her right now. So this is all good information. Ben is on board. He is really grateful to have this information. He thinks it's telling him a lot. So I'm glad for him. Jesse takes Maggie to see his room and also so she can use his room to pee in his bathroom. And she invites him into the bathroom with her and suggests that they make out. And he says, while you pee? Okay, gross. And I hear kissing and I'm like, bleh. Meanwhile, West pulls Kyle into Club Send It to talk. And West asks Kyle, do you remember any of the night before in any capacity? And Kyle says, yes, but I'm trying to compartmentalize. And I swear he said compartmentalize. And he sounds to me like he's slurring. But again, I am very hypervigilant when it comes to seeing someone like Kyle. Like I said, like we talk about, like we can't take his inventory, but we also do take his inventory because that's what we do on this podcast. And so I am always paying attention to see how much he's drinking. I am always paying attention to see if he's slurring a lot or not when he's talking. And to me, he sounds like he's slurring. And that gives me some sort of information like, oh, okay, it's going to tell me about him, what I need to know. It's going to keep me safe. That's why I developed that hypervigilance as a child. You learn the signs so you can gauge your safety in the situation. And unfortunately, you don't grow out of those coping skills once you become an adult. And you don't necessarily need them anymore. It's just something I observe now. I don't know. Wes thinks it's time for this conversation. Maybe the producer urged him to do it. But one of the things that you learn in Al-Anon right away is you don't engage with someone when they're wasted. You just don't do it. It's a fool's errand. Nothing good, nothing productive will come from it. But this is also a TV show that they're taping right now. So, like, I get it. Go, Wes. Do what you got to do. Kyle says that he doesn't know what triggered him. There's so much built up, and he kind of laughs at that. And Wes acknowledges there are many depths and layers to your marriage, but it's the only time I've thought objectively, Kyle, you're being unnecessarily cruel because nothing happened. It was just black and white and not the right thing. That can't be the way to get shit off your chest. That was bad. Jesse apparently has stopped making out with the girl. Maybe she's done peeing and Maggie went outside to find her friends or whatever. So Jesse wanders into Club Send It and he's now in the conversation with Kyle and West. And Kyle apologizes that they both had to be subjected to seeing him tell his wife to fuck off the night before and says, I'm falling apart. And West instructs, dude, don't tell us that. Tell her that. Tell her sorry. Say, I shouldn't have talked to you like that. And Kyle agrees and says, I feel bad. And it's like you can almost see West like visibly relieved to hear that Kyle is feeling terribly about how he treated his wife the night before. And then Kyle says, I get selfish when I see her having fun with everybody else other than me. And he hangs his head and starts to pathetic, like drunk cry. And I was so grossed out. I can't. I am so impatient. I am so impatient with this kind of behavior. I am so impatient with it. Ugh, gross. Because then you feel like, I'm speaking from experience, I feel so responsible for not making you feel like even more pathetic than you already do right now. But this is so unattractive. It's just so gross. West begs Kyle, listen, come to me. Come to your friends to talk about your stressors. Just don't take it out on Amanda. Just say sorry for that, please. Kyle says, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And in his confessional, Kyle says, I know they mean well, but if they really meant well, they'd also say something to Amanda. Like, hey, why are you giving us all the attention? And we're flirting, we're playing games. Maybe, just maybe at one point in the last month, could they have said, hey, just give your husband a little attention? What? Oh my fucking God. And he did that confessional when he was stone cold sober. Well, I don't know. He didn't seem drunk. Maybe he was on another kind of substance that would make someone say something like that. I don't know. But what the fuck? What? You are mid-40s, sir. 43, 44? What? Tell her, like, hey, Amanda, your husband just said fuck you to you, but you know what? I've also observed the fact that you're not, like, giving him a lot of attention. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'd be humiliated to have that on film. I'd be humiliated to have another human being hear me say that out loud. And I thank God I don't think like that. Anyway, outside, we now have a scene with Amanda, Mia, Ciara, and Lindsay. They're doing a party debrief. And Mia asks Amanda, has Kyle apologized to you yet? And she says no, and says, I don't honestly know if he remembers. And Lindsay asks Amanda, do you know the other stuff that they found out today about the Loverboy loan and the payroll? And asks Amanda if they have a prenup. Amanda says they don't. And in her confessional, Amanda says, Kyle took out a small business loan. It was not a conversation he had with me. It happened, and he told me about it. This man is an entrepreneur. He's a businessman who went to business school. Why would I ever question his business decision? I don't know anything. I do art. Oh, God. My husband would never, in a million years, make a decision like that without talking to me about it many times. Intense, detailed conversations. Amanda tells them, I don't have the answers, you guys. I'm just in limbo. I'm numb to it. I'm compartmentalizing. And she admits that she knows what's happening now is not good. And Ciara says that's no excuse for him lashing out at you. It's unacceptable. And Mia wants her to stop letting him treat her like shit. You don't deserve him telling you fuck you. And Ciara, see this one, this conversation right now, what Ciara is about to tell Amanda, under the filter of today and the news that dropped in the last 24 hours, this is gnarly, dude. Ciara tells Amanda, you're such a lover, but at some point, you can't be miserable to make him happy. And Ciara shares that her own mom divorced her dad for some of the same reasons that Kyle is displaying. And the way he speaks to her is so unacceptable. And if everything you do pisses him off, maybe he needs a break from you. And if everything that he does is reactive and impulsive towards you, then you need space too to figure out your own shit. And Lindsay comes in with this suggestion, which I know she meant well, but in my opinion, it came from a different kind of a place than Ciara's did. She says, let him see what life would look like without you. And I know what Lindsay thinks is going to happen. And I know that she thinks this is going to be a kind of a gotcha, but that's not how it works. And I know that this is what Lindsay's telling herself. And she thinks that she's telling Amanda that, like, doing that would be like something empowering. And instead, it just is manipulation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am all for Amanda taking space from Kyle, but I don't think it's going to do what Lindsay fantasizes it's going to do. I hope that I'm making sense right now. I think that Lindsay thinks it's going to be like, Kyle's going to be like, oh my God, I couldn't live 2 days without you. I missed you so much. And it's not going to work out like that. It's just not. So Ciara wonders if it would be more productive for her and Kyle to separate, not even permanently, maybe for a week or two, And Ciara tells her, you can always stay with me. Dude. Amanda, you had to go and fuck with West when Ciara is literally laying it all out for you right here. She is walking that loyal friend walk, talking that loyal friend talk. You know, we all know. Amia assures Amanda, I swear to you, we're going to take care of you. And Ciara tells Amanda, you don't deserve to endure this all by herself. Let us help. Let us help you. The insult to the injury, dude. The insult to the injury. And Amanda starts crying and says she doesn't know what to do. I hate that. I know that overwhelmed place that she's in. And it's not fun. You don't know what the fuck you're going to do. You layer depressive tendencies on top of that. Fuck. It's terrible. It's terrible. So guests are starting to get kicked out. While Amanda's changing out of her costume, Jesse fills her in that West had a stern talk with Kyle and that he was so proud of West for telling Kyle off and telling him to go apologize to Amanda. And Amanda tells Jesse that she loves him and West, and that's why she keeps coming back. And she doesn't keep coming back for Kyle. Damn. So a few hours later, West, Jesse, Ben, and Carl go out. KJ tells Dara it's the first night he stayed in because she's there. And Amanda is helping Kyle take off his costume. His shoes are on the bed of fucking course. And he slurs to her. This is just so fucking gross, you guys. Oh my God, my least favorite kind of fucking drunk. Other than a scary, mean one. He slurs to her, I just wish you loved me more. And she tells him, oh, maybe if you were a little nicer to me, it would make it easier. And he says, we're going through a lot. And it feels like we're in trouble. And she agrees. And then he says, sorry about last night. And she asks him, why did it take you so long to say something? Why wasn't it the first thing you said when you woke up this morning? Why do you have to be told you should be apologizing to me? And he tells her, I don't know. And she says, listen, we just need to have a conversation when we're stone cold sober. So in stark contrast to that, we see KJ and Dara in bed. And he says, thank you for being beautiful inside and out. And she's like, you don't have to thank me, dude. So around 2:30 in the morning, the other dudes roll in. Wes fills them in on their conversation with Kyle. Wes asks Carl about the conversation he and Kyle had in the recliners earlier, that he said it was like an hour and a half conversation. I don't know if he was being facetious or not, but like, shit, we only saw a few minutes of it. Carl said that his concern is that Kyle has never had to face a big thing in his life, like a big adversity. And he's worried because of the current state of Loverboy in his marriage. And remember, like we've seen Carl imploding, like on his path, like to bottoming out with his alcoholism since season 1. Season 5, his brother died. This is the COVID season. I'm watching that season with Josh right now again. And it's fucking heartbreaking. And it's just awful. Like Carl he's lived some life, you know, he's lived some life. And again, this is one of those things that I have shared in the past in not so many words about my own feelings around why I don't like Kyle and how he's entitled. And I think Carl is more accurate that like he's never faced a big adversity. So he doesn't know what's coming for him. Like, how is my friend going to survive this? I mean, he's surviving. He's surviving out there, like being separated from his wife. But he's still DJing, so he's getting some needs met. You know, he's working, he's making it work. The next morning, Dara and KJ are cooking breakfast, and in her confessional, Dara says that she always knows she really likes a guy when she starts cooking for him, and cooking with KJ is even better. And she says she hasn't seen any glaring red flags other than him not salting his eggs. And KJ is super hot, super cool, super fun. So let it roll. Okay. The cast sits down to eat breakfast that KJ and Dara have made, and they're chatting about what they're up to after they leave the Hamptons to go back to the city. Wes is going to Italy for a wedding. Lindsay is having a housewarming party. And Ben asks Lindsay, hey, can I bring a guest? Because he wants to bring the woman Sabrina that he told Ciara about in the winery. And of course, Lindsay approves of that. Ciara shares she's going to North Carolina this week to meet an architect because she bought her grandparents' house, the house her dad grew up in. And her dad does not know that he's bought this house yet. In her confessional, Ciara shares that once her parents got divorced, she lived in like 5 different houses from kindergarten to high school, but her grandparents' house was the constant. Her grandfather built it. It's where her dad and his siblings grew up, and every holiday, every Christmas was spent there. It was the house that raised her. And I love that she was able to buy that house for herself. And I totally get it. I felt the same way about my grandparents' house, both of my grandparents' houses. My maternal grandparents' house is no longer in our family. And every time I drive by the freeway exit that I would take to get to their house off the 405, like my heart just like, I like it stops and my stomach drops and I stop breathing and I ache and ache. The ache is so full of information and grief. And like, I get that feeling. I get that feeling that Ciara is saying that house raised her. Same with my dad's parents' house. That is still in our family. And it's what I want for my kid, you know? I don't know how long we're going to be in this house. We talk about moving back to Southern California, being by the majority of our people. Don't know when. And maybe it won't mean the same thing to Leo as it would to me, because his stability is coming from like his parental unit and it doesn't have to be represented by a structure. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Who fucking knows, dude? I project so much on my kid and he like does not ask for it, nor does he deserve that. You know, I don't know. Can we help it? I'm not sure. So Ciara shares she's going to fix the house up and keep it in her family's name forever. That's her plan. And Mia tells Ciara in front of the rest of the table how proud she is of her and tells everyone else it was a long back and forth process to buy this house and that Ciara was so calm and handled it so well throughout and that it's a big deal that she got this house. And Ciara is trying to downplay it. Mia says Ciara is trying to downplay it, but it's a really big deal. And Ciara is trying not to cry. And I love Mia. I love Mia is championing and cheerleading her friend from the proverbial mountaintop, and I love it. I love it for the both of them. Ciara in her confessional says, to think I have the opportunity to keep this house in the family, which is something that I believe my grandfather would have wanted. It's really special, and I can't believe that I have saved my money and been responsible enough and also paid my taxes that I can buy this house and have it belong and remain in our family. It's a way of me honoring all my grandparents' hard work and the sacrifices they went through to even have a home and build a home for their family. And I hope to have that with my family one day. I just got done saying that. Like, it's so true. It's so true. And I know that from what Ciara has shared about her relationship with her dad and the relationship she has with her mom and the fact that her parents are divorced and the dynamic between her parents, her dad's behavior, her mom's behavior, like I get that attachment she has to that house. That house represents a feeling of safety and security. And you know what? Stability. Fucking stability. It was a constant when other things weren't. And I really validate that for her. So everyone at the table toasts Ciara. And Wes says, I know what that means to her, but not knowing how to deliver it or how to tell someone you're proud of them or super happy for them when this relationship is still, I don't know where it is. It's just so strange. You know what, Wes? I don't give a flying fuck what you say anymore. This is all really like, you're just air. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know, dude. I don't know what the fuck it's like to be someone like Wes. I have no idea what it is like to be someone like Wes. I can't begin to possibly imagine what it's like. I just don't know. I don't know. But he really fucked up. He really fucking blew it. He blew it. He blew it. Lindsay, this was so weird to me, I thought. Lindsay asks, who else at the table owns a house? Ben raises his hand. We learn that Lindsay owns a house in Nashville, and now Ciara owns her house. So, of course, I jujuled Lindsay Hubbard, Nashville. And it turns out Lindsay owns a 4-bedroom townhouse in Nashville, and she rents it out. It sleeps 12 people, has 4 bedrooms. There are Lindsay quotes in neon signs sprinkled strategically throughout the house about the sandwiches being activated, etc. Drinking game. I'm sure there's some sort of drinking game in there at some point, somewhere. There's photos of her. And there's a confessional room with a green screen where you can record your own confessionals. And it also has a rooftop hot tub. So if you are going to Nashville and you need a place that's going to sleep 12 people, it's cute. It's got a very social media savvy aesthetic, if you will. You just Google, I think you just Google like Hub House Nashville and it'll come up. Anyway, congrats. Amanda says, I don't own a house. I still don't own a house in New Jersey. And Kyle says that's how you put the down payment towards Loverboy. That's how it felt anyway. And Amanda, this was so weird. She thumbs up him and says, we're good. I was just making a silly. And saying we're good to your partner, your husband, your spouse, it felt like weird and foreign and stilted and distant and just like off to me. That's how it felt to me. Anybody else? It just feels weird, dude. It's weird. It feels weird. Ben fills Ciara in that he wants to bring Sabrina to Lindsay's housewarming party. And in his confessional, he says, my plan is to reach out to Sabrina, get a feel for where she's at, ask her to Lindsay's party. And if all goes to plan, I'm going to be over the moon. But I'm aware I have a lot of catching up to do because she said, I love you. And I didn't say anything. Can you imagine? Can you imagine saying I love you and having someone not say anything? I don't fucking know, man. Amanda and Kyle are in their room getting ready to leave. And Kyle asks, can I just get a hug? Can I just get a hug? Ugh. Oh my God, the hangdog of it all. And his expression is pathetic. And I would just be like, I would have like I'm crossing my legs right now so violently under my little table because I find it abhorrent and repelling, this kind of energy from a man. I really do. Ugh. So she hugs him and says, I don't know why you waited until last night to say you were sorry. And he tells her, I needed time to think and process and didn't know what got into me. She's like, you needed time to think and process? You walked by me and said, fuck you. Like, what do you need to think and process about that? And he says he needed time to figure out why he said it. And all I wrote was unbelievable. How do you say that? How do you say that out loud and not just go, oh my fucking God, I don't know what is going on with me right now, but I have problems. I have something to work out and this is not okay. It's not okay that I just said that. But he didn't say that. He concluded that he said what he said because he's an asshole, but also that he doesn't feel like she wants to be with him. And she kind of like, yeah, duh. She kind of like, yeah, does him and says, like, we're in a weird place right now. You said fuck you to me last night. You talked shit about me at the beginning of the summer. The way you speak to me and the things you say to me are the issue. I feel constantly disrespected. And he agrees that the relationship is in troubled water. He apologizes again and asks, what are we going to do about it? He says it needs to be a we effort. And I'm like, are you kidding me, Kyle? Regardless of the news that's come out in the last few weeks and confirmed yesterday that we're all shitting our pants about still. Who knows what the fuck dropped since I started recording this at like 8:30. Like, blow me, dude. Like, how many years has she been asking you to be home more, not party more, not cheat on her, not go out and get drunk and flirt with strangers, not have people slide into her DMs saying, hey, I don't know, I think Kyle might be out there fucking around tonight. Like, not DJing. It takes two to tango. But, live free or die, right, Kyle? Like, what the fuck, man? It's so gnarly. So she reminds him that, like, listen, I've stuck by you through all the rumors, the yelling, the name calling. I've been here with you, but I can't put up with it much longer. I don't want to continue being treated this way. I have a lot of patience for it. You're under pressure. P.S. Me personally, I don't think it's patience, by the way. I think it's depression and resignation. I think I think my brand of depression, the way my depression manifests, seems a lot like Amanda's, what I've seen of it. There's no energy, there's no self-worth, and it's all very, what's the point? But it's very much not having patience with the situation. In my opinion, if I may be so bold, if I may project onto Amanda Batula, okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what I see. I don't see patience. I see resignation. I see resignation and depression. Kyle says, I sometimes think you don't care. And he asks, how come we're not putting in the work? Again, this man is so fucking infuriating to me. Now he wants to do the work. Now he wants to put in the time. But all those months before, he was DJing. Oh, yeah, but it was to make money and promote Loverboy. So he's always got a reason for it. So I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. You have to be home to put in the work. I am HO, but that's just me. And he asks her if she'd go to couples therapy. And she says, yes, I've said that. So he wraps up the conversation saying, I know we love each other. That's why we're still together. But I need to feel like we're in a partnership and that we're in it together. And I'm like, now it's time for the partnership when you want it? Again, my legs are crossed violently under the table with lots of muscle use. They both agree that they feel like shit constantly, and they hug to end the conversation. And then he says, I just want to feel loved. I just want to feel loved. And she's all, so do I. So do I. We've been seeing this, dude. We've been seeing this go down for so many fucking years now. Honestly, they got engaged in 2018. It's 2026 now. But now it's time. Now Kyle wants it, you guys. Everybody, Kyle's ready. Kyle's ready to work on the relationship. Kyle's ready to put in the work. Why aren't we putting in the work, everyone? I'm exhausted. My mouth is tired. So the cast goes back to New York. We see the scene with Lindsay's housewarming party. She and the caterers are putting finishing touches on the food and the decor. And in her confessional, Lindsay says, completely transitioning my entire life into a big, beautiful apartment that I feel really proud of feels really good. No matter what happens, sugar daddy or not, I got us. And it's true. She does. She's got them financially. And I do believe from what we've seen of her that she is a really dedicated mama bear. She really is obsessed and in love and engaged and there for her daughter, Gemma. Gemma is her priority. I see it. I see her working hard to take care of the both of them and give them a stability and a life that Lindsay did not have and that she wanted. And I'm happy for that for her. And I think that she's capable of more, to be honest. You know, I sounded like a teacher right now. Like, Ramona, I know I see your potential and I see the potential for her. I think she can handle it, but she's got to want to be okay being vulnerable just for a little while until it gets comfortable for her. And then I think she'll really have everything she wants. But that's okay. It's working for her right now. So Amia and Ciara arrive first at the party. They look fucking chef's kiss times a million. There's a pianist at a baby grand in Lindsay's foyer and champagne being handed out. And they congratulate and praise Lindsay. Kyle and Amanda arrive. They are equally impressed by all of it. Same with Jesse and Carl. Now, Carl is so sweet. He has brought Lindsay a bottle of real wine, not something non-alcoholic, and he's brought a book for Gemma that he found in a bookstore in Brooklyn. I have a feeling the book is probably about a baby being, growing up in New York, because he says to Lindsay, this is why I got this book for her, because she was born in New York. She's a New York baby. And Lindsay just looks real fake and rude and like fake confused. And I just find it really gross. I don't know what she's getting from that. Does it make her feel good? I don't know. Carl is out there being earnest and Lindsay's being defended. And it's coming out in a really rude way. And I didn't like it. She don't give a shit if I don't like it. In his confessional, Ernest asks Carl, says he's touched that Lindsay even invited him. And he's not sure if it was an intentional invitation because he was on the group chat. We hear a producer ask what he thought of her house, and he says it's incredible. But he did see little memories, and he shares he got to keep Wesley's stripes, which is that fake zebra that we've been seeing for years now, and that Lindsay got to keep the trash can from Carl's bathroom. We see a picture of Carl's bathroom. We have more arrivals, including KJ and Dara. Bailey and Levi arrive shortly thereafter. Bailey and Levi ask Dara, hey, how was your first weekend at the house? How did it go? And Dara says, I'm glad you asked, because the only upsetting thing that happened was when I arrived, I could tell KJ was feeling something and I didn't know what to make of it. And Bailey's like, I don't know how I fit into this story. And Dara says, well, you told Lindsay I was alone in Ben's room for an hour. And Bailey says, did you not go into Ben's room? And Dara says, no. And it was kind of like a weird no, in my opinion. But again, I'm projecting because I've seen her be in Ben's room. We see the footage. They roll it at that opportunity. And Bailey says, okay, well, I don't know where you were then. I was wrong. And that's where the episode ends. I don't know. You could have just said like, yeah, I went in there to pee and change in his bathroom. We were just having a talk. We were having a chat. No harm, no foul. I don't know what's going to happen. It all seems very minor in comparison to everything else. I don't know that I was very articulate in talking about the episode or in talking about Amanda West and Ciara. It's the end of a long day. I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything that all of us aren't already all thinking. Well, I'll talk about it again with you guys next week. Probably we'll find more information out in the next week. Let's see, what else did I watch? We are still working through season 3 of The Gilded Age. I freaking love that show. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. The acting is so great. The writing is so great. It's Julian Fellows. Come on, what are you going to do? Of course it is, right? Watching some more episodes of season 5 of Summer House. Hannah crashing out, Luke crashing out, Kyle being a dick, just a lot of terrible shit. I wonder, like, I think it might be too soon for me to be watching stuff about COVID. I don't know. I mean, there's so much on my list of shit to like untangle and break down and work through, and I'll get to it at some point, but like, who knows? Maybe I am working through it. I don't know. What else did I watch? I think we might have watched a few more episodes of season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Again, that's a show where, Josh and I can binge a lot of reality shows. I can't binge. He can't binge Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's too fucking gnarly. It's so dysfunctional. Oh my God. I wonder if Taylor Frankie Paul is so freaking grateful that Bravo came and swept her basically off of the blogs right now. Gross. Anyway, what was my antidepressant? I did some work with ketamine over the weekend. I've been committed to keeping my practice of doing it at least once a week at home for my mental health, and it is definitely helping. It doesn't make things feel any easier, but it does make things feel clearer and seem clearer. And it does help reset when my brain gets in a loop and I can't get out of it. And then we had a jam-packed weekend hanging out with really lovely people. Friday night, we went to a lovely Shabbat dinner with some other families in the 4th grade class. And it was really, really just such a nice way to start the weekend. It was a beautiful, warm Oakland evening at a gorgeous park and kids playing and delicious food and lovely people. Saturday night, Josh and I went to Leo's school's annual auction fundraiser, and we had to dress up like Y2K New Year's Eve, and it was really fun. I had a great time having a night out with my husband and talking with other people that I really like. I'm really grateful to have met some lovely parents at Leo's new school. And it was just nice to be out. It was just nice to be out with my husband mostly. And then Sunday, I went into the city. I saw my dear hairdresser who gave me a gorgeous color job. And then after that, I met my family in a neighborhood in San Francisco where we used to live. It was Leo's first place he ever lived in San Francisco. They'd ridden BART over there, so I met them. We all had lunch together. We went to the beach in the city. It was a gorgeous summer-ish day in San Francisco, hot, like in the 80s. Yeah, came home and did ketamine, and it was a lovely, lovely weekend. And now we're getting ready to go to Portland for Leo's spring break. And so I will be recording next week's episode next Saturday. That's the first opportunity I would have to record, unfortunately, you guys. So I will be getting next week's episode out a few days later. I don't like to, but please roll with it. I appreciate that. Again, Margie, for the third time, I love you and I miss you, or however many times I've talked about you today on the podcast. Everybody else, take such loving, good, intentional care this week. The Bravo news is relentless. The other news is relentless. It's all fucking relentless. And our brains don't know what the fuck to do. So whatever self-care and self-love looks like this week for you, I want that for you. I'm going to continue to look for the helpers. And I'm going to continue, I guess, oh shit, sorry, that was my phone. My phone telling me it's 10. Damn, already? Anyway, that's it. You know what? Maybe that's my sign. Maybe that's my sign. I just need to STFU, let everyone go to sleep or do whatever you're going to do. I send all of you love. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next week. If you celebrate Easter, have a happy Easter. If you celebrate Passover, have a happy Passover. All right, everybody. Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.